this more. When you get to this point here, that tummy muscle is stretched right out. And then use the tummy muscle to pull himself around to the other side. Notice my hands and breastbone are staying in line. I do not reach around out of alignment. This was critical for him to get a good hit. So, pull back on the left side and then tighten the tummy muscle. After he could do this and understood, keeping his firm posture here and here, turn to the left, pull slowly here to get used to this muscle, then doing the work. The next thing was, once he practiced that 2 or 3 times slowly, was to do it with a burst by tightening this stretched tummy muscle quickly. There was the initial source of whatever power he was going to generate. There's 2 other sources of power I will explain in a few minutes here. Pull to his left or his right, and just feel this stretch and then tighten it. That time I flinched with my arms a bit. It took practice, but he was getting that. Alright, that's the first source of power. Now what happens here, I want to explain something here that I've mentioned in another video clip, you'll see, is when this muscle here is pulling him to his takeaway side, his right side, it's pulling on the rib cage, not turning the shoulders. Turning the shoulders can generate slouches. The primary goal is to get the rib cage turning, and the shoulders are attached at the top of the rib cage and they go for a ride. Watch again, I'm pulling my rib cage around. Notice my shoulders are doing what appears to be a shoulder turn. Now, what I'm going to show you now is my shoulders are firm against my body. Now watch this. I turn to here and then I'm going to tighten that tummy muscle and watch my rib cage start to move. My shoulders are going to delay. They're snug and firm for accuracy. The ribs start. There's a deflex, a stretch in the shoulders above the ribs. The ribs are turning, snap. This was a source of power, the second source of power. This is the first, this is the second. There's a third source of power. The next thing was prepare him to hold the golf club. Alright, hold his hands out, thumb up like this, and then drop his arms so that the triceps just touch the chest muscles right here and then lock them. The wrists are locked. This is critical for accurate hits for what he was going to be able to do in the wheelchair. Alright, turn. Now, I felt a stretch here and here. The arms are firm to the shoulders. There's a flex between the ribs and the shoulders, and there's a flex in the shoulders themselves and the arms. I did it slowly that time so you could see. Alright, now to do it quickly it'll look like this. I felt a stretch and then a tightening pull here as I kept this firm at this joint. The next thing was taking the club. I got a little junior golf club, little boys club here. I don't have much room here. Alright, so thumb up and thumbs on the shaft, the grip of the club. Grab my thumb the way I did before, and oops, I grabbed the shaft too. The next thing, drop the arms onto the ribs like this. Then, the critical part was why we had to have the hips above the knees. Had to do with dropping his arms further so his hands just barely cleared his knees. He couldn't go too far or else his knees, he'd be hitting his knees. So as far as he could and lock. Alright, now the next thing to do was to get the club head down to the ball. He had to tilt his hands down at the wrist. And that wasn't going to be far enough. So then he had to slide, let his grip of the club slide into the palms of his hand so that it could tilt downward. Now with this club being a short one, but the hands clear the knees and the club head is down close to the ball. I'll show in a minute with a proper club. Now, you're going to see the third source of power. The first one, actually it'd be the fourth. The first source was the tummy muscle pulling. The second one was the ribs turning under the shoulders and then the shoulders flexing back. The next one was the arms and the shoulders stretch. That's the third source of power. The fourth source of power was locked wrists, and then as you turn to here, that quick burst of a turn, you see the delay. I'm going to exaggerate it. That flex, stretch, and snap back has a lot of power in it, and it's accurate. Again. Alright. Once he knew and understood that, he knew the idea of into his posture, get firm, and one command to turn this way, and even though he was firm and tight as a rock, he executed that command and his body turned. The next command was tighten the tummy muscle. Even though he was snug and firm, those simple commands to one part of his body one way, another part of his body the second way, he got good hits. I'll try and show this with my pitching wedge and see if I can hit this golf ball. See how I've gripped the club the way I showed him, drop the arms onto the ribs, tilt his hands and let the grip slide up into the hollow of his hand, the palm, lock everything. One command, turn to his right using that back muscle, and then quickly tighten to the other side with using the tummy muscle, keeping everything locked. How about that? Did you see that? It happened quick. Now, his first swing with that, he missed the ball by that much, but I was able to give him a whole bunch of positive feedback. I said, you did everything that I wanted you to do, and you didn't fail at all. The only thing that happened was your orientation to have the tilt at the wrist and maintain that so the club head could get to the ball. Lots of positive feedback I gave him. And all it was meant then one slight little adjustment. His second hit, using the 9-iron that I was practicing him with, he hit a beautiful 70-yard hit, towering hit. He had got the bottom of that club down to under the ball, and he had executed this burst, and the firm stayed firm so that the flexes could take place, and bang! That ball just took off. Sweet, simple, sweet, clean tick sound. Alright, I don't think I can explain anything more about this. That is what we did. Firmness was critical to maintain precision of his body posture and arm posture. Maintain that through his turns. And firmness allowed the flex, stretch, snap. Alright, that's it for now. I'll be doing another video coming up that deals with keeping your eye on the ball. Get ready for that when you're going to hear something that's very strange. Bye for now.